For days, Iranian state television broadcasted fabricated footage claiming their military achieved the impossible, sinking an American aircraft carrier in the Middle East. The government specifically named the USS Abraham Lincoln as the target of their success, repeating the claim across international media outlets to project an image of regional dominance. U.S. Central Command countered this narrative by releasing strike footage of Iran's most expensive and secretive military project burning in the Persian Gulf. The imagery showed a 240-meter vessel, the size of a World War II fleet carrier, consumed by massive fires. 40,000 tons of steel, loaded with drones and missiles. This was the IRIS Shaheed Bagheri, the Islamic Republic of Iran ship. Before it carried weapons, this hull belonged to a commercial container vessel named the Peregrine. With a 22,000 nautical mile range, a massive civilian cargo ship like this could remain at sea for an entire year without refueling, hanging perfectly among standard global maritime traffic. Iran's Revolutionary Guard, the IRGC, stripped that civilian hull and built a weapons platform over it. They installed a flat flight deck and aviation infrastructure right on top of the commercial structure. CENTCOM accompanied the footage with a single statement that dismantled the propaganda with surgical precision. The only ship that sank belongs to Iran. This one. This public release of footage served as a calculated live-fire demonstration, broadcasting a specific warning to global military commands watching the conflict unfold. The intended audience for this footage resided in the command centers of Russia, China, and North Korea. These nations have spent years studying Iran's asymmetric naval doctrine, a strategy where a smaller force uses unconventional tactics to combat a much larger traditional military power, as a potential blueprint for challenging American carrier groups. The centerpiece of this doctrine was the Shaheed Bagheri, a 40,000-ton weapons platform that operated under the silhouette of a standard merchant vessel to maintain plausible deniability. Built on a converted civilian hull, the Bagheri possessed a massive 22,000 nautical mile range and the ability to remain at sea for an entire year without refueling. By tracking and destroying this vessel before it could engage in combat, the Americans proved the era of hiding massive asymmetric military projects is over. The engineering behind the Shaheed Bagheri focused on deception, hiding a fully operational drone and missile base within the frame of a civilian container ship. This satellite image shows the ship's primary offensive modification, a 180-meter ski-jump runway bolted to the port side, designed to launch fixed-wing drones far out over the open ocean. The ship's internal cargo holds were converted to carry more than 30 high-speed attack boats, the same swarm craft the Revolutionary Guard has used to harass international shipping for decades. She functioned as Iran's first true aircraft carrier, outfitted with her own command tower, intelligence suite, and batteries of anti-ship missiles for self-defense. This platform was Iran's solution to projecting power into the Red Sea and the Indian Ocean without relying on a conventional navy that could be easily detected by traditional surveillance. Destroying a steel structure of this size requires more than a single impact. It requires hitting specific nodes in a sequence that triggers catastrophic secondary explosions. The U.S. hit 3 critical nodes simultaneously. First, the drone runway and aviation fuel storage. Second, internal hangars housing attack boats, where packed fuel created a chain reaction kill zone. Third, the primary missile battery, eliminating any defensive response. The Americans tracked the Bagheri from the day the first weld was laid. Ultimately, her massive stores of drone fuel and missile propellant turned the 240-meter hull into a bonfire visible from 40 kilometers away. The destruction of the Bagheri represents the loss of billions of rials and Iran's most advanced drone integration technology, which had been years in development. Without this mobile base, Iran's drone warfare capability is now limited to their coastline, restricted to fixed launch sites with coordinates that are already preloaded into American and Israeli guidance systems. This strike was part of a broader 14-day campaign that saw 46 Iranian naval vessels destroyed or disabled, including their most advanced frigate, the IRIS Dana. The cumulative impact of this 2-week offensive effectively neutralized Iran's regional naval strength. By the time the fires were out, the country's drone attack capability had been degraded by 83%, and its broader ballistic missile capacity was cut by 90%. The Revolutionary Guard didn't just lose a fleet, they lost the entire strategic concept of asymmetric power projection that they had spent a generation building. While the Americans dismantled the Iranian fleet, the Revolutionary Guard launched a massive 52-missile saturation attack against the Abraham Lincoln. It achieved 0 damage. Strategic analysts are assessing the survival of any military platform lacking the advanced defensive layers and sensor networks that protected the American carrier. This image shows the multi-layered formation of a U.S. carrier strike group. American naval dominance relies on these integrated sensor networks and battle network integration, which can detect and neutralize threats long before they reach their target. Iran has lost its fleet, its drone carrier, and its propaganda credibility in just 14 days. The Revolutionary Guard must now decide if any credible naval threats remain, or if that chapter of the conflict is closed. In modern warfare, attempting to project power without transparent dominance and integrated defense is merely a delayed execution. Drop your assessment of the conflict in the comments below, and subscribe as we break down the next phase of this story.